the program not being open. Getting there, okay. Gotta get some credit where credit's due. I'm launching it now, But yes, hope everyone had a good day so far. Oh, yeah. Yesterday was a weird day. I got a lot done, but I also didn't quite get some of the stuff I wanted done, which is a little frustrating, I'll get over it. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, like I got a lot of assignment work progressed, and theoretically, once I saw like a couple of issues out, I pretty much got an A+ on my final assignment for one course. So I should be done this week for that. I also did a bunch of research and stuff, which I just didn't get as much research done as I'd hoped. Nor surmising. Surmising, that's what I was wondering for. Good lord. And essay setup, that's the other thing. Then there's a presentation I have to do soon as well. Should really do the mock-up of that, get that done this week as well if I can. We will see. Alright. So. What do I want to work on today? That is a good question. Great question, me. Thanks, me. You're always got my back. Sure. What do I want to work on today? Like, so one immediate thought is to continue working on the spawning systems for the waves and add a multiplier array to put through. That's the first thought I can have. So I guess we work on that for now. That's gonna be a quick one though, so don't know what I'm gonna really do. I mean, there's a valid argument that I continue working on the cleanup, but I'm just kind of bored of it at the moment. I need to finish at least some foundational cleanup though at some point soon, because we've seen with several of the weapons they're completely broken because like one or two settings isn't getting passed through correctly. Well, they're not getting passed through because they weren't expected for. Which is why some of the weapons will just, like, that are supposed to be staying still on the player just float off because they're getting influenced by movement when they're not supposed to, because there's a boolean for that now. I could go through and just manually add it for the time being, which wouldn't be the worst thing ever. But I will only do that if we start getting closer to releasing this update, which sometime, I swear. Look, I stand by. I hope to have this on Steam before the end of the year. I said before that there was a good chance we could get it done by half year. That's not happening. I can say that now. We're not getting this. The likelihood of getting this next update out before the end of June is already questionable at best. So, take that as you will. Because I'm still waiting on the stuff from my mate. So I'm just gonna keep kind of plotting along with some of this overall stuff and the next update stuff at this point. I wonder if I should start fucking around with the boss system. Because there's a lot of elements to the boss system that are going to get added in the next update, but bosses aren't going to get re-added for a while. So I'm wondering if we should start kind of approaching that. Yeah, probably. Because how do I want the bosses to work fully? No, I don't want pack and save. Fuck off. Okay, so... say this is our screen. If so we've got our UI up here. Our main player UI. Then we've got our current like objectives slash kills stuff here. We've got the EXP across the top. Currently we've got the timer here, which it probably should be enlarged. And then we've got the player here. So the idea with the bosses is that there's only going to probably be one at a time under most conditions, and we can accommodate for multiple if need be. But the idea is that it would be like... So this would be a name, and this would be the HP bar. And then this would be kind of like a customized corner and icon for each individual boss, is the general idea that I have. And like it kind of comes in with an animation somewhat. You know, correct English dictates that it should be Roger and I's plan. That's correct grammar. Do you happen to have a skill issue, perhaps? Do I? I sounds wrong. If we're talking formal English, actually it is, what I said is correct. Roger and I's plan. or Roger and mine can work, but it's supposed to be the external and then the internal, and that sort of phrasing. Because Iron Roger's plan is definitely incorrect. Would you an ice pan? Okay, no, whatever. So, okay, with this being the case with the bosses, then debuffs can be... Cat, please. Debuffs can be here. Cat, give me a sec. Cats need to learn how to clean up after yourselves, Jesus. Alright, so busted slash debuffs there. Yeah, have a treat. So where should the player buffs and debuffs go? I'd assume here would be a not a bad bet then. Right instead of left, what? No, we're not having ads in this game. I've said that before. So I think that's probably the best bet. And we need to, have just a moment looking at in-game. I need a screenshot of in-game again to work off for now. Honestly, I know that's a joke, but I genuinely believe that there's going to be something about that in the future of games. Mark my words. There you are, my bot on Discord that I just post shit to, so I don't have to worry about keeping the files safe. Rip Iron Mouse? Yeah. She did. No, So if I use that as a grounding point, yeah, no, I think underneath the equipment is probably the correct place to have it. Come on, what is the key binding for it? Come on, system settings. I can't see the answer. Okay. Can I just... Okay, I can. Cool. So if we're using this as an example point... So what I'm thinking, so we've got two locations, so the boss info will be down here. So it'd probably be like... That takes up way too much screen time space. So like, excuse the poor drawing. So that takes up a lot of screen space, but that should be fine. Then like, we try and aim for buff icons and debuff icons to be here. And then we'll have, so maybe having a rule that like if there's like one buff here, then the debuff goes here. Well, probably smaller than this. Probably like 1, 2, 3, for general idea. So there can be 2 lines of each by default. It can like we could probably just make it expanding as necessary. This probably needs to be enlarged a little bit to probably this kind of sizing, and this definitely needs to be enlarged to this kind of sizing. Because realistically the objectives area should be like this at most, so we have to consider any other objectives. So in this one it'll have the kill score, but then it'll also, when the boss turns up, kill boss. Also keeping in mind, so this is the, so this is HP. Oops, HP, not HB. This is assist. No, this is EX, right? Yeah. EX. So where's assist going? Assist goes here? Let me look at an image of Vampire Survivors for a moment. Vampire Survivors image. You don't see the rank in the imagery there. Interesting. And with holocure? I believe you do, right? Yes, you do. It's underneath it. Okay. So maybe with these icons, the icons are shrunk slightly because this seems to not be fitting in pretty well. Great. So this comes down in size, and then maybe like a thing on here, which is where the number goes. So this would be where the 1 is, like that. It's a terrible drawing, but so as an example over here, use it there. So all of them will have this by default, but this one will have that, but like this will have, let's switch to maybe the color black for a moment to draw this. That will have the 1 there for more clarity's sake. Because again, so the boss stuff is only when a boss turns up. Otherwise... So the buff area as well is going to only be the icon and the duration on it, right? And it will be slightly transparent. Because if it's slightly transparent, then it shouldn't really interfere too much. The boss bar is the one I'm fearful of because, like, that is a lot of space, theoretically, that is taken away from the player on the screen when the boss fight is occurring. Also, well, I've got kind of an argument going. So if like there's two bosses, down here would be a split and it would just basically be the same stuff. From here onwards, and then the HP bar would probably cut off here instead. The reason why I'm drawing this all up is this is something that I do want to kind of like use as a future reference. Now shield is also, I've already talked about this with my friend, but it's basically going to just be something that goes over the top of the HP bar like this. If you've seen Risk of Rain Barrier, that's kind of the intention, right? So, yeah. This needs to be changed, how this value shows. Would it'd be best to show the value here in the center of it? It would kind of tighten up the UI a little bit, I guess. Oh, I see my friend has just opened, started Steam. Is he actually around? You are around. Hi, Max. Cool new layouts. I am currently kind of exploring some ideas on how some improvements can be made and how the future of some of this needs to kind of go. I don't think too much of this is new though. It's just more like formalizing some of the thoughts I've had and talked about in the past with you. Also, I love how I go, I wonder if my friend's around, and then like immediately the message comes in chat. Gotta love it. Because like, there's an argument to be made that I don't even tell you the actual hard value of your HP here. Because realistically, do you need to know the value that you have of HP? You have a percentage. Do you need the hard value? Because it can be given to you in the menu, right? Like the pause menu, you can get those stats. They're guaranteed. But like, do you need that while you're playing? Is there potentially distracting information? I would argue that if we didn't have barrier in the game, then it would be unnecessary, but because barriers in the game, barrier is one that I feel like you should be formally able to see while you're doing your run, how much health it has. So therefore you should. Because I think holocure didn't even have like the HP bar up in the top left early on. It's only a recent addition, I think, right? I don't think Vampire Survivors has ever done that. It's still just HP bar in the center. I haven't played since the newest update, but I don't remember seeing it in the patch notes that I read through. Because there's also an argument to be that like the EX and assist bars, I don't really want them too small, because then they're harder to see, is the short answer. And I don't want them harder to see. I want the player to know when they can use their EX and when they can use their assist. So I would argue for now this is fine, but probably making it so like I think these need to flash when they're full. I think that would be a very valid way of looking at that approach. I think I've talked about that before though. I do apologize that I may seem like a little distant at the moment, but I am just doing a lot of analysis on what we've got so far and what we need to kind of have moving forward. I'm getting pinged about something. I will respond to that later. Let's see, I might... So yeah, I'll screenshot this for now, because I don't think I'm going to do much more in the way of tweaks to this. And I will post this in my bot, so I have it as future reference. Oh. Okay, let's go through and just fix, with a patch job fix, the weapons that are currently existing, so I just don't have to worry about them for now, and we can walk away. It's the same change I said I wanted to hesitate on, but fucking might as well just get it cleared away so I don't have to worry. So stagnant needs to be set as true. For what weapons? Basically any weapon that is underneath these. That I believe would be considered stagnant. So, Atlantean Trident has not had its changes done yet. So anything past that, that would be considered stagnant. Is hand reveal stagnant? No. But I need to remove this. Because otherwise it's going to multiply it multiple times over and it's going to just fly off the handle in some random ass direction. Hello, cat. Why have you got snot on your face? I cleaned you just a bit before. There you go. Much better, cat. So let's not get you tangled on the cables. Okay, so we've done hand reveal. Well, we've brought it back to being probably fine. Idle Song. Idle Song was one we saw that did have issues, and that's because it is a stagnant. But it's not set as one. So we just need to write in here stagnant equals true. Yeah, it should be fine now. Truckun has probably got its own modifier that we'll need to remove. Yep. Yes, you are. The Niconian, is it Niconium Monocon or some shit like that? Niconiumonic? Whatever. I believe this is a stagnant. I mean, the short answer is it stagnant or not, is check the step event. If the step event has a thing, then it is. Body pillow is stagnant from recollection, yep. Again, these are just temporary shitty fixes. Lovely beam. Do you have a modifier? You do. So get rid of that. Oh, apparently you didn't want to stay on my lap then, Cat. Okay. Ink sprayer. Okay. Ink spray is a weird one. Ink spray is a fucking mess. So we need to remove this. And we need to remove this. I'm not going to clean up the weapons properly. Again, I will remind to this because just pure and simply, some of these are just, they're going to get removed anyway. Why should I spend the time reworking them to a higher standard when I'm going to be changing them drastically anyway? Sledge over it. God, remember when that was a big game that everyone talked about? Good old get over it. I may date this game some of the most. And then Yarn Ball. Yarn Ball needs several reworks, I'm gonna be honest. That weapon still doesn't work anywhere near close to what I want it to. Okay, now all of those should be fine. So now it's stuff like EXs. So I don't think you have a thing. Yeah, because you're not even a weapon. You are a pair thing. You are a weapon. Okay. Inherit. Stagnant equals true. Guagura OEX. You are not stagnant, but you don't need the additional multiplier. You are a visual effect, you're not a weapon. You're a fucking mess and a mistake. Currently, we need to fix this. This entire EX needs like so much work. These are weapons, but they don't require any of the stuff, right? No, they are stagnant? Technically? Okay, and now check assists, assist components. You are not stagnant. You are not the father. And you are not the father. Okay, so it's the shorthand way that should fix most weapons, functionality wise, and just have them in a much cleaner and more consistent way. Well, not a consistent way. It should just be in line with some of the changes that are going to be coming to them long term. There's some particle effects I need to check out at some point. I need to remember that on some of these games. Okay. So yeah, let's muck around in the client again for a little bit. Gonna do shopping as well later today. Who do I want to play as? Just looking at the sprites and just realizing they're not synced up. That's because of the way I do my sprites is horrendous versus what my friend does, which is a lot more manual. I still think Aura is one of the best scaling characters in the game. Oh yeah, I needed to move. She just has such a hard time with her early game at the moment. Because the thing is, if I can hold out until I get my EX, Aura's great. Because then, bonk. Ah, I've not set something correctly. Value 5 was not set before reading. this. Yeah, how am I gonna get ID hold, you dumbass? I need to do a search index. Ah, okay. Let's try that now. So now we need to prioritize picking Rambit so we can actually get the thing. Quick start will help. Cool. Rambit's fun. Oh, Rambit's weapon's a bit fucked at the moment. We should probably make it stagnant, but we need to change its owner. Actually, no, I think the owner should be correct, right? Okay, well this is a very big stack of enemies that we're gonna have to hope that clears. Yep, that cleared it. Get even more EXP going. Oh, that's right, I still have a call out for when I trigger emergency shield. I should probably remove that at some point. To be fair, Rambit requires so much more like cleanup and testing still. So this is the weakness of Aura, is like, again, you're for a long time waiting for the EX, not really doing enough damage to penetrate through the attack forces. But then if we can get the weapon to like level 6, that no longer becomes the problem, and she is way stronger of a character. Almost there. And her EX is charging very, very quickly at this point. Cool. There we go. But I couldn't get out of the situation. It's the weakness of doing big massive clears like that, is you allow the spawns from the sides. I feel like quick start is essential on her, right? Like helpful Rambit seems very, very good. Also, I just realized the player's no longer getting their shadow. I might need to look into that. Shit, you know what, before we continue, let's just quickly fix the, Rambit Slam. See, the thing is, I shouldn't need to do that. Theoretically, I could change it to being a stagnant, and then the owner, which should be the Rambit, should actually handle it fine, but that's kind of one of those, we probably will change that at a later, I will change that at a later stage. Ooh, do I want more EXP or healthy and quick start but hard? Nah, fucking enemy haste and more EXP. Sounds way better. Or has got enough speed to deal with the haste. For now, anyway. Quick start and harden. Harden's just super difficult. Because it's, again, like... Think of harden as you take a net loss early is the main thing. I need to look into that in a bit. I'm gonna see if I should level up the main weapon more aggressively, if that fixes some of my issues. because his area is just so shit early. It's such a good scaling weapon, but its early game is so bad. And then she's got like a god tier EX for that. See, now I'm one level away with having her good weapon though. But I feel a lot less secure right now. I'm wondering if I should redesign the weapon to reach outward more instead of wide, because that's the thing. Is her weapon's much more of a wide swing than an outward swing, which means that it only actually hits out to about this far away from me with the mouse. Like where the mouse is. Okay, we got the wave. Ramon's feather should actually help as well. Give me Rambit now. And let's level up Rambit some more. Because I think that's one mistake I've done, is I've made too many of the animations too short or stumpy, which has led to that issue that I've talked about before, where the characters feel like they need to be more tanky than they normally need to for a game of this kind of caliber. I mean, like, using as an example Vampire Survivors, right? We've got here, this image here. This is the whip. This is one of the most basic weapons of the game. Look how far that reaches. These bats here still wouldn't be hit by the current weapon we've got, as an example point. So I do think that was a mistake on my part, and I probably need to reapproach how I've drawn those weapons and how those attacks are handled. Okay, I don't think I need to improve that for now. Ooh, game is slowing down a little bit. Yeah, the Rambit thing's still not quite working because it's not technically stagnant. That's what we need to do to it. We need to make it stagnant. Stagnant on Rambit. This actually does increase its damage a fair bit from memory. Yeah, it's speed and damage I think that gives. So, like, again, I want to stress, I don't think this is the incorrect thing to do to something like this weapon, right? Is, like, potentially it should be a wide weapon because it has the wave that it sends out. But the query becomes, is it right to make the weapon this closer range just because it gets a wave eventually? Should the player have such a hard time early? I think it needs to come out a little bit in its swing, but I think that overall it can more or less stay the same. The other is probably the ult, I'd assume, from that damage. Good morning, Cat. You've finally woken up. You've got drool on your skin. There we go. Bit of clean up. Alright. See, now that's actually fascinating, because even with technically Rambit's weapon being better than it should be, Rambit's weapon did almost as much damage as the Anonymous Feather, which was only like level 2 or 3, right? And Anonymous Feather is not high damage early, I would consider. Again, it's a scaling weapon. So that's something to kind of keep in mind. But yeah, I think I need to do something about, like, again, a lot of the particle effects, a lot of the hitboxes and stuff like that, they do need further cleanup and tweaking. Oh, hey, Roger. Cause, yeah, I think so much of it's wrong. I want to try fixing that at some point. So I'm not going to do it now, but I think I'm going to make some kind of collision stuff behind the scenes at some point. To basically do the work. There's a lot of like, there's actually a lot of assets that I can make very easily and very simply that would drastically improve a lot of systems in the game at the moment. Like, there's one that's genuinely, I should probably just make a fucking circle that I can use for a variety of things. But I'm just kind of, again, art is one of those difficult things for me to look at and want to work on, and that is purely my own mentality issue. Like, I did do some art this morning, though. Not for this, but just kind of general art. And I would argue that that came out a lot better than I was expecting. What's going on here? Oh yeah, I saw something on Twitter earlier today that was really funny. Is apparently there is some Near Automata wine that is being sold at the moment. And the unique aging method that they have is the only reason I'd want to even, like, get it just for the fucking meme of it, is that it was aged in an oak barrel while getting fucking blasted by the OST. And it's like, I'm be real with you, Chief. I want to know what wine listening to Nier Automata's OST constantly sounds like. That shit gonna be interesting. I think that was fucking hysterical. Oh, you know one thing I want to talk on for a moment, if I would be so allowed. So there is a discussion coming up at the moment from League of Legends end of things, where they've announced the Legend collection stuff, all that. So it is basically a year-long pass that is going to give you a bunch of cool and interesting cosmetics. However, to get like the top end stuff, you need to pay 60,000 RP, which is about 500 something US dollars. Now, mind you, I want to I will not speak to my opinion on this. So there is 3 Ari variants, and there is 1 LeBlanc skin, I believe, in the fucking thing, right? In the pass. Now, the levels give you different Aries. I believe the signature gives you the original. I don't know if they all get given to you though, is the thing. Immortal. Okay, let me pull this up so I don't say anything wrong. Is this what it is? So he's actually, oh god, he has been playing pro for 10-year career, goddamn. Okay, so the past rewards is Risen Legend LeBlanc skin, SKT1 Rise, Z Rise and Syndra skins, some Mythic Essence, Faker, a fight, icons and emotes, Broccoli Baron title, I kind of like that. Hide on Bush Ward, good. Unkillable Demon King banner and 6 orbs. So there is 3 collections to choose from. Aren't sold individually, instead they're included in collections within the event with each of its price tags. So let's see, Risen Collection highlights the Risen Legendary and is more affordable. Yeah, I know it's more affordable. It's still very expensive, but yeah, we'll get into that in a bit. Immortal and Signature is the ultimate collector thing, featuring not only the Immortal, but also in-game effects. So let me guarantee I'm reading this correctly. Okay, alright. I know exactly where I stand with this. So here is the skins and stuff. So this is what you get out of the pass. It's 100 levels, and you can get it over the year. This is your thing. So it's a year-long pass, is what I remember correctly. Let's see. Well, some aspects of the event may... Oh, no, it's not all year. This was... Okay, I was misinformed on that. May wrap up in the 8th. The in-game celebration itself continues until July 15th. So you have a month-ish for this. Okay, that I will disagree with a little bit, but hey, we'll get to that. So this will also be something that they want to do every year is the idea. Now this is where we get to with these things. So the baseline one, so you get the pass, you purchase the pass with this, you get this skin, which is very, very pretty and doesn't look too bad in game. You get a bunch of cosmetic stuff. Okay, cool. So 5400 RP. Let's do an RP calculator for... We'll do it for USD because... Because it's just probably better to do it for USD for most people. So I believe this is going to... give me the info I want. So does not include the bonus points, so we've got to keep this in mind. Is $40 US ish for this one. That is expensive. That is legendary skin status expensive. So this is the LeBlanc skin that you can get from the pass just naturally as well, which doesn't look too bad. Like I don't think either of these look bad. I think they both look very, very good and competent, and they looked pretty solid in game as well. So then we get to this one, Immortalized Legend Collection. Now this is the part where I will say this does include the Risen Legend Collection. So this includes the thing above. All of these are cosmetic. These are all hugely cosmetic rewards. Banners, splash art, holographic thing, all that. So it's all very heavily cosmetic. You might probably get from that what I'm trying to say though. This though is $250. This is very expensive. So this... It's insane, right? That's a lot. But you get all of these things with it. And the previous. The same with this. I saw Immortalized Legend Collection in here. Now this one, I also want to state, has 100 pass levels. So you finish the pass by buying this. You are guaranteed the pass. You are guaranteed a lot of cosmetics that are specifically unique to this. And it is a whopping $450 US-ish. So again, that's why you're hearing the $500 thrown around. Now, everyone has their own opinion on this. I have seen a lot of negativity around this, and I kind of just want to ask the simple question to the negativity. Why do you dislike this? Is it because you want it but can't afford it? Is it because you want it but don't feel like paying this kind of money for it? Do you feel that this is too expensive? Why do you feel that it is too expensive? Riot has talked about this before, where they want to approach the idea of exclusivity, right? Because they've kind of removed a lot of exclusivity from the game towards skins in the past. In fact, the only thing that's technically exclusive anymore is some icons and borders for your splash arts. You needed to get certain characters at certain times to get those borders. You can get the skin later, that's all fine, but you cannot think. Now, the Jin one, the complaint was that it was basically only it was a chroma that was theorized at $500 or something like that, or $300, whatever. And the issue that people had with that was extremely overpriced for just a chroma that slightly improves the skin. And I think that's a valid criticism. However, at the end of the day, do you need it? No, you do not need it. It does not change any elements of the game in any capacity. This is purely cosmetic and prestige. This is what the legendary skins used to be, but the legendary skins are like $30, $40. And probably less than that, because I think I'm using New Zealand dollar for that. And that's the point I also want to make. So in New Zealand dollar, this would be $700, right? So this would be equivalent to like 2-3 weeks worth of my entire budget at the moment. Here you go. $740. Thank you, Opera GX, for giving me that answer. So, do I think this is reasonably priced? No. I would like to get this, but I can clearly not afford this. Do I think that is unfair? Sure. Do I think it is wrong? No. It is okay to express displeasure about not being able to attain something, but this is where, like, designer stuff comes in, right? Can you buy designer bags? Not many people can, and those that do, that shouldn't be, it really doesn't actually benefit their lives. It's purely a cosmetic benefit, and it just is like, oh, well, I don't get bullied as much. It's like, well, really? Then you're probably hanging out with the wrong kind of circles. Like, I'm gonna be honest. Do you really enjoy being in a circle where you are either bullied for not having the best thing, or you get to show off and rub in other people's noses the best thing? Because that's all that kind of circle does. It's extremely unpleasant environment. No, what this is to me is a way of exactly what it is. It's immortalizing a prominent figure in the community with, albeit a very high price tag, but like the fact is we're at a stage where they can do this. And again, let's see, is there a champion spotlight on the thing now? Like Ari, the champion spotlight skin. Ari. Faker skin. Skin spotlight, here we go, cool. let's see how bad the skin is. I, again, have seen the skin briefly and I thought it looked pretty solid, but I could be wrong. Maybe I didn't see enough. It's not loading correctly. Give it a moment. The computer is dying after all. And again, I want to bring this up as a topic purely because, like, I've talked about this stuff in the past as, like, the big frustration I have with people complaining about things being expensive when they're non-essential. So yeah, this is something you get with the top-end pack. This is unique to the top-end pack, the signature. So when you destroy a thing, that's when you kill someone. That is not unique to this one. That is unique to the top 2 tiers. So this is Immortalized Legend. This is the, which one was it again? This is just the, yeah, this is the middle one that we're seeing at the moment. I do like how her tails are things. So this is Risen. This is the cheaper one. Apparently there's also UI changes that this has. Oh, that's cool. And this is the LeBlanc skin that you get. Which, I'll be honest, LeBlanc just kind of needs a visual of overhaul anyway, because I think she's still very stagnant. But I think that was a good job at it all. So again, the uniqueness of the $450 US one is when you destroy a tower, you get Faker's signature where it is. And I think those are some of those cosmetics that you get with it as well. And then when you kill someone, I'm guessing the animation's slightly different, but I think you also get these. We'll see, because so this is the Immortalized. This is the, again, the second one. When you kill someone, animation's pretty much the same. But yeah, I know that this changes your UI slightly. Is one of the things that was described. So Risen just has just special VFX slash recall, taunt, takedown, counter, and home guard. Immortalize his signature finisher, champ finisher, transformations, and unique HUD. Signature RE has everything Immortalize RE has, as well as a control 5 emote and Faker's structure finisher. So there you go. Do I think that these skins are worth this price? No, but you're paying for the prestige, you're not paying for the skin. Like, again, this is where the difficulty lies, right? Is what are you actually paying for with some of these skins? And by offering this as a limited thing, again, there is mixed elements of me saying this is good and bad. From a personal perspective, I do not like the pricing. I think it's egregiously high. And I think it's just very unfair because I can't afford it. And I can't, like, I literally cannot afford this. I have to accept I'm not getting this. And that's fine. It's not for everyone. But there is going to be players out there that will want this. And simply put, I would argue if like only 100 people bought this, they probably made their money back. Right? Like on the general cost of like getting the stuff done for it all and all that. Like if only 100 people bought this, then I feel like they've probably made their money back, and that's fine if they're only going to have 100 purchases out of their millions of players. Not everyone needs to get things. Not every cosmetic is for you. Like, this is where we come to the whole thing. Some people like infernal skins. And do we call them wrong for that? No. We just say that personally, infernal skins are just fire, magma, woohoo. Not always that interesting. Apparently the newer ones are interesting, but I've not seen enough of them to really make a definitive comment. But yes, the point is that I think this is fine overall, and I kind of just, I hate that League has turned, League and TFT somewhat has turned into this like, we've got to complain. We just have to complain for whatever reason. We just have to complain. It's a necessary thing. Not because it's actually worthwhile complaining, but because we're so entitled at this point that if we don't have the perfect game ever, you're the worst developers ever. It's like, what do you mean the game's not balanced this one fucking patch? It's like, sorry, they couldn't predict for some changes affecting the meta the way that it did. And sometimes, to be able to predict the changes that the meta will do in the future, they do have to overscope. It's like, if we raise this character's attack speed, base attack speed by like 0.1, what does this mean to the game? Does this actually mean that they go from strong to broken? Some cases, yes. Some cases, no. How do they know? Sometimes they just have to try it. That's what PBE's for. But the problem is that it's such a small fucking sample size that how are they going to guarantee like the stuff for it? How are they going to guarantee people have got everything they need? They've covered all their bases. So yes, in short, my big gripe and complaint that I want to put forward for all of that is the fact that, yeah, people are complaining for the stupidest fucking reason. Where my game is not perfect to my tastes, where... Sorry to this game that has millions of players doesn't cater to you more. I don't know. I mean, this is something that got brought up in discussion as well. Not quite this, but like something that got brought up in discussion yesterday, I think it was, during lectures, which is accessibility, right? The concept of like, how accessible do you make your game? Now, the default answer, I know a lot of people are going to say, well, you should accommodate everyone. Everyone should be allowed to be able to play your game. So, okay. So, counter argument. Why am I not allowed a bot in League of Legends? If, like, what happens if I've not got, what if I'm not able to use my hands and feet? What if I'm paralyzed? What if I'm unable to do anything but like slam my face onto the desk to start the lobby? What if I'm barely able to do that? Then I need a bot. I need a bot to play the game for me. What if I'm in a coma? Like, this is the thing. This is where you start getting to the point, oh, you're just throwing out extremes. No, this is the problem. if I was to accommodate for everyone playing this game that I'm making, right, I would never finish development. The more money you have, the more accessibility you can add. However, there is a limit to how much accessibility you can feasibly add before it is problematic. I cannot understand some of the arguments that some people put forward with that shit. Because yeah, it just comes down to at what point in time have you gone too far? So next time you complain about accessibility in a game, also like one argument that one of my lecturers kept making, not the two lecturers we had, one of them kept making this, the other one didn't seem to fully agree with this, but that's kind of the point, and I guess, is difficulty is not always considered accessibility issue. So what is kind of meant by that is Dark Souls doesn't really actually have that much of an accessibility issue. Dark Souls is accessible to play, but hard to be good at, because it's a difficult game. It's got a lot of difficult constructs. I would consider their game a low accessibility game. They've got accessibility features that enable people that are capable of playing it. It's because I consider skill an accessibility feature, or an accessibility point. I think a good game that actually did a solid job of introducing an interesting accessibility feature that nobody will really consider was Hades, the first one. I can't speak to the second one, but the first one, where you can set a mode that's not easy mode. You're not considered easy mode. It's called God mode, I believe. Where when you die, you gain progressively more damage resistance. So it means that you can progressively do better at the game, and it compensates for your skill deficiency. So it's that I would consider an accessibility feature, and I think most people would. Do I think Dark Souls should implement this? No, that's not the point of Dark Souls. If they added that, then they'd also have to add like, oh, you don't drop your fucking souls on death. And I'm gonna be honest, that would probably ruin the game. Right? Like, one of the biggest charms of Dota, of Dark Souls is its difficulty. This is where I again bring back to the kind of point that I was making though, is that that's fine. A game shouldn't be for everyone. A game should incorporate accessibility up until the point where it might conflict with interest of the game. Right? But that is the point that should be made, which is why I don't mind companies making obscene decisions where, like in this case, this is technically an accessibility one with the money one, right? Oh, it's way too much money, I can't get it. So it's inaccessible to some players. Does it actually change gameplay? Not really. And I actually hope that this goes well enough that they do more of these in the future. Because I think this is a cool way of celebrating a player. I mean, Faker especially being the first one to celebrate, it's the perfect fucking choice, because he's, I would argue he was probably the most well-known esports player in the world. Right? I think that's a valid statement. Like, esports is pretty underground still in some forms comparative to other like sporting events and stuff like that. So I would hazard to say that that's probably a valid take. Again, I know that there's probably going to be someone that spokes up, no, but fucking I don't know, this StarCraft 2 player, fucking oh, what's that one Terran player that loves playing mech and always fucks with the meta? I can't remember his name off the top of my head. But like there's Maru, there's like there's a few fucking names I could throw out from the StarCraft side of things that I would consider extremely well known individuals, but doesn't mean that they're as universally known as Faker. Do I watch Faker games? No, I don't really watch Faker anymore. Haven't watched League esports in years. In fact, I can tell you exactly when I stopped watching was when they fucking had the Ardent Sensor method. Ardent Sensor meta. Where every bot lane was, could you pick Janna or Soraka with Kog'Maw? Because Rageblade was different at the time, and Ardent Sensor was different at the time, and healing was different at the time. And those three things came together to create probably one of the most boring esports splits in League's history, in my opinion. They could have had worse since, but that one was really bad because there was no innovation. There was no room for innovation in it. Right? Like, because the Rageblade back then was stacking attack speed. When at max, it would create a cleave in the area when you would deal damage. So what you would do with Kog'Maw is you would just get that and get Runans, and basically you'd delete a wave, and with W you'd delete the enemy team. And with Ardent Sensor giving so much attack speed and on-hit, it just led to you vaporizing things. And at the time, Grievous Wounds was much higher of an effect. I think it was like 60% healing reduction, but it was only to healing done on yourself. So supports were running heal, ADCs were running barrier or ghost or whatever. And it was basically, yeah, Soraka was one of the best characters in the game, and she got nerfed so many times during that season, and then they still reverted the fucking Grievous Wound change in the end, as because they're like, look, we just can't do this, it's not working. And that's fair, right? Like they tried and it failed miserably. It was one of the worst fucking times to play League. And so I stopped paying attention to League esports around then. I don't think I finished watching the series, and I've never really gone back and watched more, outside of like one or two games from time to time, just to kind of pop in and see what the games look like in a rough sense nowadays, or I watch highlights from time to time. And yeah, I'll be honest, I kind of miss that one era we had where top lane would take like the Gromp, and mid lane would take get leashed by the jungler to take one camp, and then the jungler was super far behind, but they would farm out quite a bit, and it would just be like way more aggressive lanes. There was a cool element to that, but it was also really terrible. But it was a unique way of playing the game. Like this is the point that I want to keep stressing, is that like I kind of dislike Riot's constant effort to remove diversity in strategy. I mean, there was also the multi-support meta, right, where you took a support mid and hyper carried either from the jungle or from an ADC. I dislike the fact that they tried the APCs in bot lane, so kind of like your Swain and Ziggs, and then they just kind of gave up on that, and they reverted a few of the changes. Because Ziggs ADC, or in the position of ADC, was fucking interesting. Because basically, the point of an ADC is to deal attack damage and kill turrets, right? They're objective destroyers. That's where their big strength should lie. Nowadays, they're much more assassin-y. They're ranged assassins most of the time. Which is kind of sad to me. I mean, like the fact that you can hit 100% crit chance from like 4 items now, I think, right? Used to be like you'd need 5, 6 items to do it. It was a funny meme thing to do. Now it's like actually optimal. Because it was also really hard because there was only like 6 crit items in the game. Which meant that you had to take like one that was bad. I mean, fuck it, I could go into the fact that I miss kind of old Ghostblade where Zed would take it and split. Like, people will not believe this. Zed used to be a split pusher. Would you believe that? Well, to be fair, probably your Zeds in game still can split push. But yeah, no, Zed used to be a split pusher. He would get Ghostblade and he would just use that and split down a lane. Because he was really hard to duel and it gave him a lot of damage. And a lot of stats. Because I think it gave attack speed back then too. Gave like movement speed, attack speed, and damage. I don't know, I miss a lot of some of the older systems, and I think that there's some stuff to learn from those that I feel like Riot have foregone. And that's probably my big, like, sadness. Again, I want to stress one of the big things that I do when I'm doing like this kind of discussion is talking to the fact that like okay, it's just sick. There we go. I do dislike how little some of these companies do learn from some of their past, I feel. And how much players have gotten so entitled in these long spanning games. Like the longer a game goes, the more entitled the players get typically. Dota's a weird one. Dota, I would argue the players are a lot less entitled typically, but they've still got their issues. I do find the new Dota patch fucking wild. Was it 7.36? I think it is. Where is it? History. .36, yeah, I was right. No, I think fucking 7.36 has been a wild fucking expansion, update for Dota 2. I think the funniest part is, and I actually agree with like one of the people I've watched, is one of the most wild changes to me is something that is not talked about, which is the fact that mana is now visible to opponents. Like, it's on the health bars. Now, to anyone that hasn't played Dota and played League, you're like, what the fuck? What do you mean? It's like, so two things. Before, you used to not be able to see their mana whatsoever. If you clicked on them, keep in mind in Dota, when you click on a unit, it will change your entire interface to that unit. So in the bottom middle, in League, this is where your character's details are and everything, right? In Dota, it's kind of the same, but if I click on like the enemy, it will switch all of that HUD to show me the enemy. Except it won't show me like the levels they have in abilities, and originally it didn't show mana. Now, then they updated it so it had mana, and that got a little bit of controversy. And then, like, genuinely, if they've released mana being on the health bars for opponents back then, I'm pretty sure it would have genuinely been a riot. Like, a genuine would have actually seen people going out into the streets and fighting people. But now they do it and no one's talking about it. And I find that so fucking hysterical. Because it's genuinely one of the biggest changes of this update. Sure, like, you've got the feats and the innate system, which for the most part is just, it's nothing, right? Like, I think that's going to be the wild statement of today. The feats and the innates and stuff are just, they're not that important. In fact, I think the most valid way of looking at it is what they did was they just split apart some of the effects that pre-existed in characters and then added a few more additional effects to some new characters. Or to some of the other characters. I have seen some really fucking funny memes from it though. Like, one of the things, and I think this is something that like a lot of people would have loved to have seen as a default thing, but I'm glad that they've added it somehow, is Lich in it. So Lich is like this floaty ice support dude. I won't go too much into his kit, but his ultimate is the main thing. So if you've played League of Legends, Brand ult is probably the most comparable point to what Lich's ult does. Lich's ult fires off at a target. It'll fire off an icy ball thing that will hit the target, and then it'll try and bounce to another target, and it'll keep trying to do this. And at like max rank, you can make it bounce infinitely as long as there's range, right? If there's a target in range, it can keep bouncing, and the bounce is never, it never runs out of bounces. Thing is, though, if there is something not in range, it fizzles. It stops. That's it. It's over. One of the feats you can pick, so feats in short are at the beginning of the game, you can pick from normally one of two. There's sometimes it's more than two, but you can pick one of two feats and it will change something about the character. One of them is that it means that when it bounces to a target and then there's no targets in range, it has this small window of time, so I think it goes up to like 4.5 seconds, where it will like circle around on the player model of who's been last hit by it, and it can then bounce again in that time frame. It won't fizzle until after that 4.5 seconds. I fucking love that. Now, the person I saw talking about it, he said he rated it pretty low, but he misunderstood two facets of it. Now, I don't think it's incredibly good. However, his other feat is pretty fucking shite as well, so I would argue it's probably the better of the two. But one of the things that it does is it forces whoever gets hit by it to move away from his team. Like, they have to move away from their team now, and they're potentially out of position. And they have to be out of position for 4.5 seconds. Now, that's a long fucking time to be out of position for. Not as long as it would be in League. Like, in League, 4.5 seconds is probably equivalent to about 2 seconds, maybe a bit less, in terms of kind of like time frame. It's a long time though, because 2 seconds is more than enough time for you to die. And 4.5 seconds is more than enough for you to die as well. Get picked off and die. Or be a DPS and not DPSing for your team. Which means that the rest of your team dies. So that's actually a really big deal, and it's a really good incentive to that feat. The other one is what happens when the player runs away or panics with it. And potentially does something that puts them in a position where now they are disadvantaged because of it. One I saw that was really fucking funny is there is another feat in the game for a character called Enigma. I'm not going to go into his kit at all. Just know that his ultimate is basically the best ability he has, and it means that his kit's really terrible. But he summons these little dudes as one of his abilities. They're Eidolons. One of his feats means that whenever he would take a substantial amount of damage, he also summons them. Now, what does this mean? This means he is permanently summoning this. Like, he is summoning a dude next to him, and then the thing can bounce to that, and then bounce back to him, summoning more things, then bouncing back to him, then bouncing back to it, and then just constantly summoning these things. And if he has infinite bounces, that's basically a guaranteed kill on the Enigma, and it's fucking hysterical. Like, actually seeing and watching that in action and seeing, like, the player just kind of click and go, oh no, was really funny. But point is, yeah, no, the update was interesting because it's wild. It shakes up the meta more than just a little. It changes how the game is played. It doesn't really change much, but it perceivedly would change a lot. That's what's important as well, is sometimes you need to understand that the player just needs to see that the game feels different for the game to feel different. I still love the constant, like, oh, this character is OP, please nerf. It's like, character's actually not OP. The character is perfectly reasonable. The problem is that other things that go well against it aren't so strong at the moment. So that, in a sense, you could say that makes it strong. Or it's frustrating, right? It's frustrating to play against. Hearthstone had several instances where it's like, oh, Mechathune is OP. And it's like, well, outside of, like, maybe 1 or 2 times, Mechathune was not OP. Mechathune was really fucking garbage and really fucking funny. Which, by the way, I think I've talked about it before, but shorthand is Mechathune is like, if you have no cards, when it dies, if you have no cards in your hand, in your deck, or on the board, you win the game. Yes, that is a lot harder to accomplish than it may seem. Because it basically means you need to be in the worst state possible. You need to have nothing left, and then you trigger it. And yeah, it's a meme, but people get frustrated because it's like, oh, well, it just kills me through all of my health and armor that I generated and all my defenses. It's like, yeah, but also... that's kind of the point of a combo deck, my good sir. That's the purpose of it. But the thing is, and this is weird, Hearthstone has a beautiful little triangle for most of the time. It has this triangle of like aggro beats, combo beats, like control beats, aggro. That should be typically how it is. The problem is that when aggro can beat control, that's not good, and when combo can beat aggro is the big ones that I've seen. Control normally can't beat combo just because of the way that a control deck would function outside of when the era of having Mutanus in every fucking deck was, which I guess Mutanus still is in a couple of decks, but problem is that like a control deck versus a combo deck, it can only have so many pieces to deal with a combo deck before it starts being worse versus the aggro decks, and then it creates this weakening point and yada yada yada, which is where you get the whole like complaints of, I tried to play this greedy deck but it got completely run over, I hate this game. And it's like, well, that's the problem, right? Like, the difficulty is the strongest thing in all of Hearthstone is tempo, and I'm assuming this is probably in a sense the same with like other card games, is tempo. Tempo rules most things. If you can consistently keep getting your plays out without disruption, that is the strongest thing in the game. Like, it sounds stupid, playing cards is the strongest thing. And the ability to play them as efficiently as possible. The more efficient you play a card, the stronger it is, the more tempo it is. Though Yu-Gi-Oh! Doesn't really have tempo in the same category, I would say, because it's like a lot of 1 to 2 turn like plays sessions, which is the difficulty. When you start like lowering the ladder a little bit, sure, you'll probably come across a few things, but realistically, this is the same with Hearthstone. If you want to actually do well at Hearthstone, find a fucking aggro deck, a cheap one specifically, and then well done, you've won the game. You'll get real far with that. I can't enjoy that sort of playstyle personally. The funnest aggro deck I ever had was Even Hunter, where that still kind of came out as a control deck in the end. It's a aggro deck that had late game potential. And what I mean by that is it's because I used it's a Deathstalker Rexar hero card to explain what the fuck I'm talking about to those that might not know. An even deck is, and Wild it was, you would use a card called Gen Greymane, a really bad card, but it has at the start of your game, if your deck only contains even cards, your hero power costs 1 less, which your hero power normally costs 2. So it means that your hero power costs 1. Your base hero power, mind you, this is a very important aspect of it that a lot of people misunderstand, is it only affects the hero power at the beginning of the game. So what does this mean? This means I have a 1 mana hero power and all of my cards cost 2 mana, 4 mana, 6 mana, so on, right? Or 0 mana, sure. 0 mana is an even number. So it means I have to build the deck very specifically. What it means is I build secrets and aggro spawning stuff. So I could spam the board down pretty effectively. I could get my secrets out, which disrupt the enemy's play patterns and clears the board effectively and spawns me more units, stuff like that. It was real cool. And then if I was feeling like I was getting behind, or if I needed to go for the long game, I would play Deathstalker Rexar, which replaces my hero and my hero power. It deals 2 damage to all enemy units when you use it for the first time, when you play the card. And then your hero power changes to a 2 mana build a monster, or build a zombieast is the term, I believe, which means that you first pick a beast of some kind that has typically it'll pull from a pool that has like an effect, a very clear effect that is like a battle cry or something like that. And then you'd get a second card to pick from, and what it would do is it would combine the stats, the cost, and the effects of them. That's why the second cards typically didn't have a battle cry or an effect like that would be potent. So you're not getting 2 battle cries. You'll never get 2 battle cries as the choices, I believe. And you would never get like too much card text as well. That's the other key thing. So this was good because by having that card out, it meant that I spent 2 mana every turn and I could get a card to fit the situation, or try and tailor a card to fit the situation. I could pick really low cost ones to spam out more stuff onto the board, or I could put really expensive ones if I was in a controlling matchup and I knew I needed to go long. Like I could pick a really expensive 2 beasts put together with one of them maybe having lifesteal, which heals your hero. And I thought that was a fucking great way of doing it. That was real fun. I missed that. But I know that that's too slow now in Wild, and Standard is really difficult to get into when you've not been playing the game, because you need the cards up to the day. Because it's only up to the last, like, it's till the beginning, like, what is it? It's only the current year and the last year is that you have available of sets, and the core set, which is not great sometimes. And it creates more weird metas, and at the moment even that's still pretty aggressive, as well as there's the issue that there is a lot of botting players in Wild as well, especially at lower ranks. Not that it doesn't, like, there is bots that have gotten into like the top end, like the top 10 of Legend as well, which is just goes to show how fucking shite the meta is, that a bot can aggravate players enough to get to that point and just misplay enough to get to that point. So when a deck is that easily to pile up, it's a very concerning thing. Anyway, I have rattled on for what I would argue is far too long on that stuff, and I think we'll probably call it here because I feel like I'm just gonna keep mumbling out stuff. I mean, this week is less programming strict and more I'm kind of taking a break. because I need to. Assignments have been piling up and smacking me silly, and I'm kind of just getting very tired and exhausted, and it's getting harder and harder to maintain my concentration with study. Which, yeah. I do have a video, by the way, that I'm editing at the moment. I want to talk to that a little bit. So, I promised my friend when we did that, back when Acheron came out, we did like a pull-off where we can, like, fought to see who could get the better things. I don't think I ever tallied the points. In fact, I'll probably do that as part of the editing. But I'm editing those, that session now at the moment, off to the side, and I'm got some interesting things going for it that I'm wondering if I can make it more streamlined and make more videos moving forward with that, with some of those features, because it might be a really cool thing to add to the shorts as well, some of the edits. We'll see. Anyway, with that all being the case, like I said, I'll finish up here. So thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. You're awesome. Stay awesome, and I hope to see you again next time. Till then, bye-bye.